Oh, what did they happen now? No bonus for all my lines.
No panic, as MTN don't carry better gist come. Every 6 minutes you talk, MTN go dash you 3 extra minutes. Fiam to enter MTN better gist. Dial *123 *2 *1 hash or text BG to 312. T and C's apply.
From the greens of golf to the court of tennis and basketball, the octagon of UFC to the square room for boxing, track of Formula One, and the pitch of football. Join the sports crew on Sport Hall 6 to 7 p.m. Mondays and Wednesdays, Fridays 5 to 6 p.m. and 2 p.m. on Saturdays. Here on iMpact Radio 102.1 FM, Lagos. Reviews, views, and interviews just the way you like it. Exclusive on High Impact Radio 102.1 FM, Lagos. Sport Hub for all the updates and analysis.
Hey, High Impact.
Hi, how may I help you?
So I have chess game with my friend later on today. When is the best time to play chess game?
I guess you're bored. Usually in the evening, but definitely before you are too tired. My very best chess, of course, is generally played at the times when I'm winning, unless my opponent decides to take a bow.
I'm definitely not taking a bow. Thank you.
I hope you win.
Hey, High Impact.
Hi, how may I help you?
Who is the fastest man in the world?
That's very simple. It's Usain Bolt. He is the fastest runner on the planet, setting the world record for the shortest 100 meters sprint time of 9.58 seconds.
Wow, thank you.
You're welcome.
Hey, High Impact.
Hi, how may I help you?
Who is the shortest basketball player in the world?
I like your curiosity. I'll tell you. Muggsy Bogues is the shortest player in the National Basketball Association history, listed at 5 feet 3 inches tall. He was drafted 12th overall by the Washington Bullets in 1987.
Oh, wow, that's interesting.
I'm glad you asked.
AI Impact.
Hi, how may I help you?
I've been curious. Who exactly is the youngest swimmer in the world?
Oh, I'll tell you. Alzen Tarek, age 10, is the youngest and fastest swimmer in World Championships history. Tarek has been swimming competitively since the age of 4.
Oh, wow.
Yes, I'm glad I wowed you.
Hey, High Impact.
Hi, how may I help you?
Which club is the first to win Champions League?
That's very easy. Real Madrid. The first Champions League was won by Real Madrid during the 1955 and 1956 season.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
You're listening to Sports in a Jiffy on iMpact Radio 102.1 FM Lagos.
Friday edition of the show Sports in a Jiffy right here on iMpact Radio 102.1 FM. Today, the 12th day in the month of September, year 2025. I'm here to serve your early morning sports tonic, whether you're a sports person, someone of the thrill of the game, or maybe you're an athlete yourself. This is the right place for you to be because the early bird has gone around the world to catch the scores, and I'm more than willing to serve them to you fast without a fact, and I'll be making this compact to your listening pleasure, tiptoeing through all of the major stories this morning, and they are exciting, ever dynamic, and sometimes controversial world of sports. Welcome aboard it right this morning. On the breakfast menu, there are stories from the world of athletics, stories from the world of football. Of course, club football is back this weekend, and a big one to look forward to in the English Premier League, the Manchester Derby between Manchester United and Manchester City. I want to really look forward to this weekend. Also, still talk about our sport on the home front at the back of disappointment from the Super Eagles over during the course of the week. Of course, a lot of talks are coming through right now. People still expressing their displeasure over what happened. Says, man, oh man, different talks from different colors. So much talk about, so much to look into, and I can assure you that I'll be talking about that later this evening between 5 p.m. down to 6 p.m. on the Sports Hub Show. 1 hour of banter, 1 hour of rage, 1 hour of views, reviews, and all of the interviews. Ayodeji Ajiboye is my name. Absolute honor to be your host on the show this morning. Such a reminder that I was streaming live on our YouTube channel at iMpact 102.1 FM. To the switch of the back of the minutes right about now, we get the show on the road. Charity, they say, begins from home. I will start with us coming through from the home front this morning. In the world of athletics, with less than 24 hours to the 2025 World Athletic Championship scheduled to take place in Tokyo, Japan, the National Sports Commission has now thrown its weight behind Team Nigeria athletes as they prepare to don the country's flag right there in the Far East. The 15 athlete contingent will be led by former world champion and current record holder in the women's 100-meter hurdles, Tobiloba Amusan, as the get set to compete against other elite athletes across various disciplines. Coming from the Director General of the National Sports Commission, Bukola Olokpade, he assured Nigerians representatives at the event that the commission would provide the required backing and support and charge athletes to give their all in a bid to be the pride of the nation. Aside from Amusan, definitely Nigerian contingent will have the likes of Koinshola Ajayi, who had an impressive season in the 100-meter event. Also, sports for the likes of Israel Okon in the men's 100-meter, Udodi Unwos-Rike in the men's 200-meter, Samuel Ogazi and Chidi Okezie in the men's 400 meters, Ezekiel Natania in the men's 400-meter hurdles, Charles Godfred in the men's long jump, Chukwuebuka Enekwechi in the men's short put. Talk about national champion in women's long jump, Prestina Ochonogo, will also be taking part right there in Tokyo alongside the experienced Eze Brume, a silver medalist at the 2022 edition right there in Eugene, Oregon, far in the United States of America, running from September 13 to 21 in Tokyo. Nigeria will look to finish on the medals table, having failed to win anything during their last outing at the 2023 edition that was held right there in Budapest, Hungary. Away from that story right now, still taking more stories coming through from the other sports on the home front this morning. Ahead of the 2025 Under-18 African Handball Championship set to take place in Oran, Algeria. The Handball Federation of Nigeria has now released the final squad list for the Nigerian team. The team is going to be led by head coach John Ozo and his assistant Bukola Duru, comprising 14 players who will fly the country's flag at the biennial competition in North Africa. Preparations for the tournament have been ongoing at the Royal Park Sports Center right there in Yaba, with 19 players initially invited. Topping the list of players selected for the tournament are goalkeepers Aisha Jamilu of Rima Queens and Okonko Sharon of Edo Dynamos. Others also include Mohamed Balikis, Ngozi Okori. Several players on the final roster had been on the side that won the IHF Women's Trophies zonal phase for African Zone 3 in Ivory Coast earlier this year. Nigeria will be competing in Group A along with the likes of Angola, Tunisia, Kenya, Benin Republic, and Madagascar, while host Algeria will take on Egypt, Guinea, Burkina Faso, and Zambia in Group B. A total of 11 countries will be competing for honors at the Under-18 Handball Tournament, which will be played at 2 venues in the city of Oran, right there in Algeria. Nigeria, during the last edition in 2023, finished on the podium, held in Tunisia. That was a monastery, if I'm not mistaken, after defeating 3-time champions Angola 28-24 in the third place match. And away from that story right now, still taking other stories from other sports on the show this morning. Quickly, we start in the world of the UFC. Don't forget that whatever sport you have interest in, I've got stories for you on the show. In the world of the octagon of the UFC this morning, former welterweight champion Kamaru Usman has now set his sight on facing the winner of the upcoming title clash between Jack Della Maddalena and also Islam Makhachev at the UFC 322. Usman returned to form in June when he ended a 3-fight losing streak by defeating Joaquin Buckley in the main event of UFC. Right then, the victory has now reignited the Nigerian-born fighter's ambition with his attention now firmly on Madison Square Garden, where Della Maddalena will defend his belt for the first time against lightweight champion Makhachev on November 15. Speaking on his podcast alongside Henry Sejudo, Usman argued that he is the logical choice to test whoever emerges victorious between the two fighters right there. And in other sports on the show this morning, still on the Sports in a Jiffy on Empire Radio 102.1 FM. Wrapping up with athletics talk this morning, Nigerian's Ezekiel Nathaniel has been back to win a medal at the men's 400-meter hurdles at the World Athletic Championship in Tokyo after a Kenyan official singled him out on arrival in Japan. Speaking to newsmen right there at the Narita International Airport, the Kenyan representative made clear that while his first loyalty was to his own team, he also wished success for the Nigerian hurdler. When asked why he picked Nathaniel, the official explained that his view was shaped by the 22-year-old consistency in the last couple of years. And taking it away from other sports on the show this morning, straight into the world of football. Quickly, Okay, let me wrap up with this one in the world of other sports because so much to talk about, so much to look into. Different stories definitely are coming in left, right, and center. It's been said that Nigerian sole entrant in the women's 100-meter event at the 2025 World Athletics Championship, Rosemary Chukwuma, has been handed a tough route to a potential podium finish at the World Championship. Right there, ahead of the championship, the start list of the disciplines have been updated, with Chukwuma placed in each 2 of the women's 100-meter event on the opening day. Right there, the Nigerian will be lining up against 7 other athletes in the heat, where Great Britain's Dina Asher Smith and Jamaica's Tina Clayton are the favorites for that particular heat. Other athletes in the heat are Rani Rosiers of Belgium, Faiza Abdulkarim of Togo, Lauren Bazola of Portugal, Ewa Swoda of Poland, Karina Manasova of Czech Republic, and Esther Short right there of the Cook Islands. Currently ranked 61st in the world. The former African under-20 champion has a season's best of 11.03 seconds in the women's 100-meter, which she produced at the Star Athletics Sprint Race in Florida in June this year. And away from that right now, quickly let's go straight into the world of football on the show. I'll talk about NPFL this morning, where it's been said that Kano Pillars captain Ahmed Musa has now returned to training after the minor injury that sidelined him for a few days. Musa sustained an undisclosed injury in the same Esugida's Nigerian Premier Football League Match Day 2 encounter with Wiki Tourist, and the injury forced the former Super Eagles captain to miss Kano Pillars 1-0 Northwest Derby, where they got defeated against Katsina United last weekend. Away from that, Steve Motors coming through from the NPFL on the show this morning. It's been said that the general manager of Rangers International Football Club, Amobi Ezeaku, has now described the close partnership with their sponsors as a turning point that has shaped the Flying Antelopes' fortunes both on and off the pitch. Don't forget that it has been said that the Enugu-based club signed a shared sponsorship with the financial firm in 2023. While speaking at the 30th anniversary in Lagos, Ezeaku underscored the importance of the club's sponsorship, stressing the deal was huge trust and an affirmation of belief in the club. One thing that Rangers have been doing since last season in the MPFL is the fact that they are the only team in the MPFL who always have a special, or should I say a dedicated jersey for each match day that they're playing. Let's assume they are playing against Enugu Rangers up against Eyimba now. The jersey, you see it inscribed on it, Rangers versus Eyimba, and that's how they did it all through the 38 matches that they played in the MPFL last season. We are hoping that they continue with that particular tradition, always looking to set the pace amongst teams in the country. And away from that right now, skedaddle straight to Europe, where I will start with us coming through from other sport. Of course, we'll talk about football on the show this morning. Just so you know, our international break is over, and for all of the players that got signed on the January, the summer transfer deadline, of course, the likes of Nigerians, Samuel Chukwueze with Fulham, the likes of Christos Uche with Crystal Palace, the likes of Tolu Arokudai with Wolverhampton Wanderers, all of them had a feel of what it feels like to play in the English Premier League yesterday when they got into their first training session. And now we'll be looking forward to see them don their jerseys later this weekend. But of course, in other sports in Europe this morning, in the world of tennis, Great Britain are looking to beat Poland in Gardena over the next 2 days to have a chance of winning the Davis Cup next year. The world number 7, Jack Draper, is unavailable for the World Group 1 tie because of injury, but Cameron Norrie and Jacob Fenley will have the huge ranking advantage over their opponent. Feels like the Premier League side being drawn away to a non-league team in the 3rd round of the FA Cup. World number 34, Norrie will play 19-year-old Thomas Bekita, currently ranked 545 in the world, in the first of the singles today, and then Fenley, who is 54th, follows on against Olaf Pesekowski, who stands at 484. Indeed, it's a case of a team playing in the Premier League up against a team playing in a non-league side. And away from that right now, we'll go straight into the world of football on the show. Quickly bringing you a brief of what to look forward to in the Nigerian Premier Football League for this weekend. Because I tell you some interesting matches to go down in the MPFL this weekend right there. Of course, one thing is certain, that the MPFL is definitely serving it to us in its full glory. We're going into match day 4, and we'll be seeing Bendel Insurance up against Niger Tornadoes tomorrow, while for Sunday we'll be seeing Rivers United up against Shooting Stars Sports Club. I'll talk about Shooting Stars on the show this morning though. A bit of news coming through from the Badon Bay side, because of course since the start of this season they've also been looking to hold down on their own. Talk about internal generated revenue, and as it is now, the team have now review that ticket revenue of over 6 million naira have been sold in the Southwest Derby. That was during their match day 3, during the game between them and Ikorodu City. Well, the figures are there for that particular game that ended in a 1-0 draw and the 10,000 capacity Lekon Salami Stadium, selling over 8,485 tickets, amassing over 6 million naira. Indeed, there's money where you talk about the Nigerian Premier Football League, and people do love the NPFL. Rivers United will also be hosting Shooting Stars. That's on Sunday, like I mentioned. Kun Khalifat will be hosting El Kanemi Warriors. Kun Khalifat are still looking to hold their own in the NPFL because, of course, it's not really been too rosy for them since they got into the side. Don't forget that last weekend they got defeated 2-0 by the Lorin-based side Kwara United. And as it is right now, Kun Khalifa, the new boys in the league, are currently sitting 19th on the log. They drew their first game and they've lost the 2 games that they've played after that particular one. There's also games between Abia Warriors and Katsina United. And Nasra United will be hosting Wiki Tourist. Bayelsa United, high flying if you ask me, because they've got 6 points from 3 matches played already in the NPFL this season, looking to do something different under their new coach Monde Odigi right there in Bayelsa. They'll be hosting Eyimba Sports Club of Aba in the game on Sunday. There's also a match between Kano Pillars and Enugu Rangers. Warriors will be hosting Kwara United. Plateau United will be up against Remo Stars, and right there at the Mobolaji Johnson Arena, Ikorodu City will be up against New Boys Barau FC to wrap up the match week 4 of the Nigerian Premier Football League. And away from that, right now we'll go straight to Europe because I tell you what, it's still so much to talk about, so much to look into on the show this morning, and plenty of thoughts coming through from the world of football as we're preparing for the amazing matches that will be played this weekend. In some parts of Europe, talk about the likes of Turkey. The transfer window is currently on, and yesterday Manchester United also confirmed the departure of their goalkeeper Andre Onana on a season-long loan right there to Trabzonspor, while at the other end of Manchester City's Donnarumma is also saying that he's ready for the test in the best league in the world right there in Manchester City. And don't forget that later this weekend we'll be seeing an amazing game between Manchester United and Manchester City. One derby to look forward to, and to say it's coming at the very start of the season, because of, if you ask me, it's still very early days in the league. We are already seeing all of these matches coming to our screen. Later today in the English Championship, we're seeing games between Ipswich Town and Sheffield United. A bit of matches will also be played in the Women's Super League, because whatever your agenda is, I've got you on my agenda. Manchester City Women will be up against Brighton and Hove Albion. Brighton and Hove Albion already paraded one of Nigeria's finest. That's talking about Chiamaka Nnadozie, who also won the man of the match in her last game when she was able to hold it down and keep a clean sheet. West Ham United Women will be up against Arsenal Women later this evening. In Spanish La Liga today, Sevilla will be up against Elche at about 8 p.m. Nigerian time. Bayer Leverkusen will be up against Eintracht Frankfurt right there at about 7:30 p.m. Nigerian time. In the German Bundesliga. In the French Ligue 1, Olympique Marseille will be up against Lorient at about 7:45 p.m. Nigerian time. A couple of games will be played in the Portuguese Primera Liga, same with the Ukrainian Premier League, and also the Saudi Arabian League. You have in the likes of Al Ettifaq up against Al Ahly this afternoon at about 4:45. And tomorrow, Saturday, 13th day of September, Arsenal will be up against Nottingham Forest at lunchtime football at about 12:30. Arsenal will be hosting Nottingham Forest. AFC Bournemouth will be up against Brighton and Hove Albion. Crystal Palace will be hosting Sunderland. Everton, of course, enjoying the Il Dickinson Stadium so far this season, will be hosting Aston Villa, while Fulham at the Craven Cottage will be hosting Leeds United, and we are hoping that the Niger Init boys will be up for it tomorrow. By the way, talk about likes of Calvin Bassey, likes of Alexander Iwobi, and also the one who is currently joining them, Samuel Chukwueze right there. Newcastle United up against Wolverhampton Wanderers, and West Ham United right there at the London Stadium will be hosting Tottenham Hotspur. Tottenham Hotspur, of course, will also be looking to hold it down tomorrow. Brentford and Chelsea will be the last games in the English Premier League for tomorrow, Saturday. Nottingham Forest, although don't forget that earlier this week it was said that they parted with their manager and have now signed Ange Postecoglou to come and be in charge of the side. And talking about players, it's also been confirmed that Olaino is also out due to injury and will not be taking part in the game for this weekend. The injury where he sustained in the match against South Africa while playing for Nigeria during the course of the week. In other leagues in Europe, for tomorrow, we'll be seeing matches in the Spanish Liga where Getafe will be up against Real Oviedo, Real Sociedad will be up against Real Madrid, Athletic Club will be up against Alaves, and Atletico Madrid will be up against Villarreal. In the German Bundesliga, Freiburg will be hosting Stuttgart, FC ADN will be hosting Borussia Dortmund, Mainzofa will be up against RB Leipzig, Union Berlin will be up against Hoffenheim, Wolfsburg will be up against Cologne, while Bayern Munich will be up against Hamburger SV, Italian Serie A, Cagliari will be up against Parma, Juventus will be up against Inter Milan, Fiorentina will be hosting Napoli right there in the Italian Serie A for tomorrow, Saturday. And of course, in the French Ligue 1, OGC Nice will be up against Nantes, Auxerre will be up against Monaco to wrap up the games for Saturday. Sporting a Jiffy right here on Empire Radio 102.1 FM. Before I wrap up on Saturday as well, I'll be saying Galatasaray up against Eyüpspor, although Nigerians' own poster boy Victor Osimhen is going to be missing that game due to the injury also sustained in the game while playing for Nigeria against Rwanda last weekend. Sports in a Jiffy on Empire Radio 102.1 FM, and this is how much I'll be taking on the show for today. And so many thanks to everyone who's been a part of the show. Sporting a Jiffy returns next week from 10 a.m. down to the flip side of 10, Mondays to Fridays. Don't forget it's your early morning sports tonic. Make sure you always be a part of it. Your Deji Ajiboye sign out this morning. Stay sporty, stay active. Do have a blessed and highly favored weekend. I'll see you when I see you once again. Good morning.
I know, and I love you too. This is why I've made it so that you can now have me everywhere you go. www.highimpactstudios.com. Press play. Links in our social media bio. Click at High Impact 1021 FM. Or you can